We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
UTASH shuts things down once again. 25-19.
Faithful empty backfield. Lewis brings down the high snap. Now he's firing, looking for Smith. One-on-one, and George makes the catch. The transfer from Robertson hauls it in for the Matadors touchdown.
Pruitt puts it across. Ava Ashley. Ashley puts it down. Game 4 goes to Albuquerque High, 25-12. We'll take a quick break.
Breaking through, Wyatt sees a hole, and he's gonna go. What a play, 70-yard touchdown. Walking.
Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Who is in your circle of trust? We know the NFL is a week-to-week league. That's what we love about it. The takes from Thursday to Sunday that change week to week. But we're deep in a season. We are looking at teams that are 8-2 overall, teams that are showing you who they are right now and who is in your circle of trust. I think in the NFC, it's a pretty tight circle. Monday Night Football could push one team in. That's on the outside of my circle of trust right now, as we'll have the Eagles at the Packers right here in the Sports Animal. Our coverage starts at 5 o'clock. The AFC, it's a little bit more interesting because you have teams with gaudy records, and you have to give them credit But when we're talking about the top teams, you nitpick. You say, but. And when we look at some of these teams, the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, 8-2 overall. And how about the quarterback, the draft class last year with what Bo Nix and Drake May are doing? Indiana Jones and the Colts finding a way to get it done in overtime. We'll talk about Jonathan Taylor, and if not now, is a running back ever going to be an MVP winner? Because that performance yesterday, 244 and 3 touchdowns for the Colts in overtime victory over the Falcons, was an MVP performance from the Colts running back. But who's in your circle of trust? We have the data. We have the eye test. And as we hit the second half of the NFL season, who can win multiple games? What's a team you're looking at and say, yeah, this is a conference champion. This is a team that could be in the NFC or AFC championship and be playing for a Super Bowl championship. What it do, everyone, and welcome into the opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck with you, Andrew producing, Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks. It's Monday, so you know what we're going to do. We're going to catch up with Lobo head football coach Jason Eck coming up at 8 o'clock. It was a bye week for Lobo football, but did you notice that the Mountain West got a little bit more interesting? How about Hawaii blowing the doors off San Diego State on the islands, 38-6. So Hawaii is balling, and there's the top half of the Mountain West Conference that you just tip your cap. When you look at San Diego State, Boise State, Hawaii, UNM, UNLV, and Fresno State already bowl eligible. Some really good stories with these teams. Of course, we know what Jason Eck has been doing here at UNM, but I think Hawaii has just been a fun, fantastic story. Timmy Chang already up to 7 wins. They're 4-2, but it gets interesting because who knows what's going to happen over the next few weeks. The Aztecs, the Broncos are 4-1. Hawaii is 4-2. All of a sudden, they're thinking, why not us? The Lobos, UNLV, Fresno State, and Utah State, all 3-2 in Mountain West play. A lot of football to be played over the final 3 weeks in terms of deciding what the heck this Mountain West title game is going to look like. And your Lobos are in position to be in that conversation. Just handle your business, see what breaks your way. But regardless of that conference championship game, huge opportunity this weekend to solidify a winning season, get to 7 wins, snap a 13-game losing streak to Colorado State, who is struggling. UNLV raced past them in Fort Collins 42-10 over the weekend. So we'll talk with Coach Eck about his team taking advantage of the bye week off the field, but being able to maintain that consistency on the field, and what he's seen so far from the conference this year, from the first year that he's riding this Mountain West roller coaster. But let's get into the circle of trust. And who is in your circle of trust? And when we're talking about these teams, yeah, we're going to judge them differently. It's no longer just, hey, find a way to win and move on. It's like, okay, you're winning, but at what level? And we had a lot of that Friday morning looking at the Broncos. If they found a way to win. Short week, Raiders come in, ugly game on Thursday night, but if you're Denver, you won that football game. Final score is 10-7. You get out of there with an 8-2 record, which is correct. You know, Sean Payton, post-game, one of the first questions the reporters asked him was, something about, you comfortable with the way this is? And he's like, well, what's the but? The but's coming, right? You won, but. Yeah, that's the way you're being judged now. When we're looking at the top teams in these conferences, teams you feel can win multiple games to get to a conference championship, there is absolutely a but in that equation. Because it's different. You're not playing the Raiders where you can play a bad game offensively and win 10-7 in the playoffs. The question, if you're looking at Denver, Indianapolis, New England now, is, okay, you're in this situation, but it's Josh Allen on the other side. You're in this game, but it's Patrick Mahomes in the playoff. Are you going to be able to make those plays? And right now, the team, I was waffling. I don't want to look down and just say, oh, everyone who's in postseason contention, you're in my circle of trust right now. I think you have to have the top 3 teams. And I'll separate this. I'll do an AFC and NFC. But looking at the AFC, you have 3 teams that are 8-2. And this is one where you give them credit, and I do believe that there are things with these three teams, the Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots, where they're setting up, not just have that home playoff game to start, but you could win 2 games and beat in the AFC Championship game. Win 1 game, if you're the 1 seed, and be in position right there to host the AFC Championship game. So I believe the Colts, Broncos, and Patriots are right there. Kansas City at 5-4 right now, looking up. I trust them more than the Pittsburgh Steelers, more than the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just blew a 19-point lead, and it feels like same old Jaguars. New head coach comes in, you're finally like, yep, this is the time for Trevor Lawrence. And that's one of those games that for Jacksonville is on absolutely everyone when it's Davis Mills season in the fourth quarter and he storms back. But you need to put together one more drive. You need one more defensive stop. Jags couldn't do that. You can't trust that team. Buffalo had the South Beach Fever yesterday. And Miami, they've done that a few times this year. We've been trying to fire Mike McDaniel for 5 weeks, 6 weeks now. And they have these games where you're like, oh yeah, that's the explosive to expect. Yeah, Tua was nice. Made some plays. Devon Achane went off 30-13. Miami takes out the Buffalo Bills. And this Buffalo team, Josh Allen's the dude, but they're outside of my circle of trust right now. I don't know if I can put them in the circle of trust, even with that man, Josh Allen, playing quarterback. Because the Atlanta game happened to the Bills. Miami game happened to them, and this was a smash spot against a Dolphins defense that has been struggling. James Cook fumbles early, 3 turnovers for the Bills. And Mike McDaniel and company celebrating in the locker room post-game. He's still the head coach of the Dolphins. He's not going anywhere this season. I know they made that announcement as well when they fired their general manager, but still, like, that was the easy one for people. Like, oh yeah, Mike McDaniel's next. They're done. Well, they got Buffalo. And then the Chargers last night. The Chargers and Bills are teams that right now are on the outside looking in for me. If you've listened to the show ever, I've gone back and forth, especially with Symbieta. I've been a Justin Herbert guy. He's just someone you watch and you go, that is the talent. And, we look back at Brandon Staley, the issues they're coaching. I think Harbaugh coming in, I was all in. I probably should have them in my circle of trust. 7-3 football team that's already beat. We've seen them, beat the Broncos and Chiefs this season when they started 3-0, had that good run, beating your 3 division opponents in the first 3 weeks of the season. So they're one you could push them into my circle of trust. But right now, it's the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC for me. It seems like, okay, I could see them being able to put it together and be playing in an AFC Championship game with a shot to get to the Super Bowl. And of course, there's teams coming. As we're talking about Buffalo, the Chargers, and we'll get into the Ravens because the way things are opening up for them. Baltimore goes to Minnesota. The defense is looking better. The Vikings, of course, present a challenge defensively. It was a slow start for the Ravens, but ultimately they get going in the second half. Lamar Jackson throws for only 176 yards, but he has that fourth quarter touchdown pass to Mark Andrews. And now that is the last 4 games. The Ravens have held their opponents to 17 points or less. And we just watched, the Steelers last night, and we've kind of been waiting. We're seeing some of those holes pop up as the Steelers, they get out to that start, but now they're 5-4. And their upcoming schedule, we just saw what happened when they played Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. But then it's the Ravens. It's teams with winning records. And the Jekyll and Hyde nature of Aaron Rodgers and that Steelers offense this season. They had that one really good moment defensively against the Colts, big win, but they come crashing back down to earth. And that opens the door for the Ravens. They are a team that could, in a couple weeks, with the talent they have offensively, getting healthy, and playing to the level that you expect the Ravens defense to play to, could be a team you're like, you know what, they got to be in the circle of trust. But just for me right now, it's Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and Chiefs. And then I look at the NFC. There's good football teams. You run down the list. You know, you got Chicago coming back from the Giants. I really want to talk about that game because Jackson Dart getting hurt is such a bummer. He suffers a concussion because he has been fun to watch. And I like the way Brian Daboll has been using him in the offense. But again, it raises the question. When you have a quarterback that can bring the run game to it, how do you keep him healthy? He's got a concussion now. But they needed that extra run game to get going against the Bears because Tracy and Singletary were not giving them anything yesterday. But we get to those teams. Circle of trust for me right now: Seattle, Philadelphia, the Rams, and the Lions. Of course, 10 nights. One of those roller coaster teams will watch them. The Packers hosting the Eagles. I think the Packers have that ceiling where they could be a team that wins multiple playoff games and is sitting there in an NFC Championship game. But do you trust them 100% right now? No. There's an opportunity, though, at home against a good Philadelphia team to start building that trust of a team you look at and say, yeah, they can win multiple playoff games. I would bet on them. Because in the NFC, you have multiple 6-win teams on the outside, just one on the outside, the 49ers. And I think you see San Francisco, Mac Jones, Ace putting up the numbers, but just too many holes to fill defensively. The Stafford had a field day. The Rams offense marched up and down the field. 49ers had some opportunities early, could not finish drives, and allowed the Rams to run away with that one 42-26. So it is, four teams I look at in the NFC and say, all right, I trust you. If Seattle getting 2 defensive touchdowns, getting out to a 28-0 lead over the Cardinals, easy day for Sam Darnold. He didn't have to do much. Completed 10 passes, and they blew the doors off of Arizona thanks to those early defensive touchdowns. Big explosive play that Smith and Jigba, as he goes over 1,000 yards receiving on the season. Like what the Seahawks have. We knew that Detroit was going to put it on the Commanders this weekend with the struggles, all the issues that Washington has. They did that, dropping 44 points. How about that afternoon window? 44 points from the Lions, 44 points from the Seahawks, and 42 points from the Rams. You had the opportunity to catch up some of your Sunday chores yesterday afternoon. So who is in your circle of trust when you look at the NFC and AFC? You can send me your thoughts. Shoot me an email, jj@sportsanimалabq.com. You can always hit me up on the X _ JJ Buck. And, of course, the text line this morning is 505-246-0610. And, of course, that is the hotline. We'll come back on the other side. I want to dive into the Jackson Dart, what happened there. Because Jackson Dart is a really good young quarterback. But how do you learn? It's the Lamar Jackson of it. If you have your athleticism, you want to use that athleticism, but staying healthy, how to try to avoid hits, how to get down. And then we'll look at the teams that are just on the outside that are trying to make a run, be someone that could win a playoff game or two. We'll talk Lobo men's basketball coming up, bottom of the hour. But, of course, if you want to get in right now, you're more than welcome to 505-246-0610. Lobo men were victorious Saturday over UT Arlington, 74-56. And how about that defense, y'all? That defense is legit. The tests are going to keep getting a little bit harder and harder for the Lobos. But, again, they hold a team to under 20 points in the first half. There was an 8-minute stretch in the first half while UT Arlington didn't score. And then we saw the Lobos offense find their rhythm in the second half, score 43 points, and pull away from UT Arlington. That and so much more this morning. It's opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
What's up, guys? David Pollack here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
It's one more offensive series where we put a couple first downs together, kick a field goal, get one more defensive stop. And those are the games, as you're a Jaguars fan, just a sports fan, you're watching and you're just like, how? How do you not stop that momentum? A 19-point lead. in the fourth quarter. Teams playing with their backup quarterback. Even though, Davis Mills has played a good chunk of football, he would be solid. We're talking about backup quarterbacks. But when you've held them down for 3 quarters, a team explode like that, those are just the moments just shaking your head. What in the world? That's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it doesn't matter the coach right now. They have that MO. And, Jacksonville, looking at the AFC, they're 5-4. They're in the 7th spot right now. So they're in that last wild card position. But, man, Liam Cohen, the frustration he showed on the sideline, it was finally, all right, you have that veteran quarterback. Liam Cohen's going to come in, put it all together. Yes, they could still be a playoff team, but that is one of those games that if they're on the outside looking in at the end of the season, could mean so much more for that franchise. Because Trevor Lawrence is, I think, next in line of the dude that you say, man, there's a talent there, but it's going to be somewhere else. It's the Kyler Murray situation in Arizona. But they made the move. They're like, all right, Jacoby Brissett, your team. Kyler Murray's going to IR to get healthy. Who knows what the offseason is going to look like. But then you go out there, and Jacoby Brissett, not great. After all those one-possession losses for Arizona, Seattle says, no, we're good. We're going to force 2 fumbles, score 2 defensive touchdowns, run away with it. But Trevor Lawrence is that next one. That next quarterback where it could just be, man, we appreciate it, but you got a new head coach, new general manager that came in, and it might have to be your next chapter is somewhere else. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. The JJ Buck got Andrew holding it down, taking your phone calls, 505-246-0610. Adrian producing on ProView Networks. Global head football coach Jason Eck coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Global football had a bye week. What an interesting weekend it was around the Mountain West Conference. And how about those Mountain West standings, y'all? We took a peek at them because it's super interesting after Hawaii took it to San Diego State on the islands this weekend. So we'll talk with Coach Eck about the bye week and where his team's at this season. I think it was a really good bye week, the reset on and off the field, the ability to finish strong with Colorado State and San Diego State, 2 of your 2 home games over your final 3. Really good position right now for global football. So we'll talk with Coach Eck coming up at 8 o'clock. But, looking at what happened to Jacksonville in the fourth quarter, missed opportunity for the Giants. I've been really enjoying watching Jackson Dart play. And it's a New York Giants team that lost Malik Neighbors. Cam Scatterboo went down. So the other core offensive pieces haven't been there for Jackson Dart. And he kept them competitive. He's fun to watch. And the Giants went into Chicago, team that's been playing at a nice level, a lot of confidence growing with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams as they continue to work to get on the same page, the expectations that everyone has for Caleb Williams. Seen it play out over the last few weeks, but then it's the Giants that have a 17-10 lead. However, Jackson Dart, he suffered a concussion on his final run, and that's a challenge because Dart was the running game. He was explosive. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns, had 66 yards rushing, but takes a hit, and it's already the 4th time this season that Jackson Dart had to go to the sideline, be evaluated for a concussion. This time, guess what? He had a concussion. And so he's in the concussion protocol. And who comes in? Well, it's Russell Wilson. He's not able to move the football. The Bears score 14 points and then win the game, as Caleb Williams scrambled for the go-ahead score in the fourth quarter, as Chicago scored the last 14 points of the game. So New York did get a field goal, and they're up 20-10. But, again, Wilson, the Giants, could not make a play. And Chicago has a fourth quarter comeback. And you see Caleb Williams able to execute down the stretch. But you look at a player like Jackson Dart, and I love the athleticism. He's a lot of fun to watch. But then it's, all right, who do you start watching? You can look at Lamar Jackson and the evolution of Lamar at the quarterback position, where he's been able to put up big time rushing numbers and be very successful in the pocket and outside the pocket. You just got to learn to get down. And Dart is one of those fiery young quarterbacks that he wants to show you what's up. And he's going to take contact. Not as big as Josh Allen, but he is more in that mold of kind of Lamar Jackson. His frame, getting outside the pocket, making it work. You got to get down, young man, because he is really fun to watch. You saw what happened. He goes out of the game. Chicago comes back, and for the Bears, they were one of those teams say, okay, you're 6-3. You're in 7th place right now, the final playoff spot in the NFC. Not in that circle of trust because, man, those 4 teams I think that we're talking about, Seattle, Philadelphia, the Rams, and Lions have such a high ceiling. Are really good on both sides of the football. But it's an opportunity. The first year, Ben Johnson, you can make those fourth quarter plays. You get Caleb Williams in a better spot, get to the postseason. That's a fantastic step. But for Dart, pull up that film. Figure out when to be aggressive and when to slide. That's the challenge, man, because you got to stay healthy. You don't want to take away that little bit of special that these players have, but ultimately it comes down to winning in the pocket, staying healthy. And the Giants, the rest of the way, Brian Daboll, you see enough in this little stretch where they're going to bring him back as the Giants coach continue to work with Dart. That'll be interesting to see, especially if Dart has to miss any time with the concussion that he is now dealing with after that loss to the Bears. 505-246-0610 Sports Animal hotline and text line for you this morning. Lobo basketball getting defensive. It was 2 games, but we know who this team is going to be. They're going to set the tone early. It's going to be really hard to score against them. And then it's who finds their offensive rhythm first. Second half, you saw a good offensive rhythm from the Lobos. They scored 43 points in the second half as they went on to beat UT Arlington 74-56 on Saturday. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk about the defense and if that's something that can carry over as the competition gets better, as they play better offenses. I thought the Mavericks, man, they were game. I liked their energy and the way that they frustrated the Lobos early, but it's staying the course. It's staying consistent. That was impressive from New Mexico. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Bye week at Colorado State in town on Saturday. I know it's going to be a busy Saturday. People wondering, what are you going to do? Well, if you're in town, go to the Lobo football game and then kick back and watch Lobo basketball at New Mexico State, 7 p.m. I know there's some of y'all I've seen on social media talking about making the drive. We're going to commit to Lobo football and then pop in that car and try to get down to Las Cruces. If that's you, more power to you. But again, there's no excuse. Yes, they're playing on the same day. It's a big commitment. If you're a sports fan, a lot of time invested, I understand. But you got to show up to football on Saturday. That team deserves it, even with Lobo basketball playing it. If you're traveling down to Cruces, of course, go for it. But I don't think there's 10,000 of you traveling down to the Pan Am Center and watch that basketball game. Now go to the football game. If you're a Lobo football fan, support that team, and then kick back, dinner on the way home, watch basketball. Seems like a pretty darn good day to me. And even better if the Lobos get some dubs on the way. Speaking of dubs, Eric Olin and the Lobos are 2-0 to start the season. Welcome back to Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM. AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck with you. Andrew holding it down, producing. Adrian on ProView Network. Watch the show there. Xfinity Channel 26, streaming online all the time. Whether you want to catch it after the fact, during the fact, it's there for you. So New Mexico, we got what they're going to be, right? The defense is something else. As UT Arlington shot 22% from the floor in the first half. They were held to just 19 points. The Lobos had a 31-19 lead at the half. It was a bit of a struggle offensively for New Mexico, but watching that game, they had the opportunity to do that game on the radio with Daniel Ferris. Of course, going to be able to be back in that position tomorrow. D. Ferris, as Robert Portnoy, Hunter Green handle the altitude call for tomorrow's game against UC Riverside, 7 o'clock tip-off in the pit. But it was one where you did tip your cap to the Mavericks. I thought they played really hard in their length and athleticism at spots, did frustrate the Lobos, and we know that the offensive chemistry and rhythm is something that's going to take a little bit longer. Saw the rotation tighten up for the Lobos when you look at in terms of minutes played in this game. Hop Tenet off the bench with 20-plus minutes. Javes Miller had 14. Tomislav Buljan, he had 17 points in 18 minutes. Kind of wasn't able to get in rhythm. Picked up an early foul in this one. Didn't hurt him too much. It kind of limited what he did defensively, but we'll talk about his offense here in a second, the way he got going in the post in the second half. The rotation tightened up a little bit, but the defense didn't change it at all. And this is one I know if you're reading Jeff Grammer, first emptying the notebook columns, pointing out the defensive efficiency, how East Texas A&M, they held them to 0.7 points per possession. The KenPom defensive ratings for the Lobos. First two games, you had a 70.1 against East Texas A&M, 77.7 against UT Arlington. And it's the length. And it's something that, it's noticeable when you watch this team in person. If you've been out to the pit, see the first two regular season games, that exhibition game, well, it's not necessarily heights that jump off. Yeah, there's, JT Rock is your 7-footer. But you got guys that are 6'7", 6'9". Troll is just one of those just wow dudes just with his length. But even Chris Howell being in there, Luke Hop being on the floor, they just get in the way. And the way that they play defensively, collapse in the lane, able to get hands and fingertips in the passing lane. They forced 23 turnovers, credited with 14 steals. There was a 32-11 in points off turnovers. This is where it's my trust, it's the buzzword this morning that we're talking about, with this team comes from. Because you can play defense like that. Grind, make it difficult. You're going to give yourself an opportunity in those moments where your rhythm isn't quite there offensively. You're just trying to figure out who's who. And I think we have a good idea kind of who those guys are going to be this season. And we saw that get going in the second half. They continue to get some early stops. But then Tomislav Bolyan was able to get going inside. He was 6 of 8 from the floor, finishing with a team high 17 points. Dayton Albury getting to the line, and that's the big thing, is Dayton Albury still has to be in attack mode. We'll play our post-game conversation with Albury here in a little bit. He sat down with Daniel Ferris and I post-game to talk about his mentality. Because one of the things Eric Olin, first thing that he was talking about in the post-game interview was he just looks at Dayton Albury. He said, this dude needs to be one of the most aggressive players in the country. He's only 3 of 9 from the field, but again, you look at what he's doing. He's attacking the opposing bigs. He's trying to finish through traffic. So it's not always easy, even when you're getting to the rim and getting inside. But if he's getting to the foul line, and then he's able to set opponents. Only 2 assists. But, his aggressiveness getting to the foul line, it kind of did open things up in that second half. And so you saw that. All right, he finishes with 15 points. Bolyan was 17. And they scored 74 points and were comfortable, and Antonio Troll only had 7. And so that's another one of those things where, okay, you can feel that this team is going to be a little bit more than just looking at, oh man, Troll's going to be the only one that can create offense. He's going to have his game. And he's still kind of figuring out, I think, what he wants to be offensively. His role in the offense. He only took 3 shots. And yet they scored 74 points. I think that's a positive offensively. 505-246-0610. But you're seeing it now. We know that defensive foundation, you're kind of seeing the chemistry develop, what that rotation is going to look like. They get UC Riverside on Tuesday night. How you feeling, especially about that game on Saturday? Get to the phones. Chad, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, TJ? You put in a lot of good points about the game Saturday. What I noticed about Coach Olin is he sees the turnover battle the way a lot of coaches see the rebound battle. And when you think about it, we haven't won the rebound battle, and I don't think any of the games we played, even the preseason. But we definitely won the turnover battle, and if you can get the ball before, you can turn over the ball before they even take a shot, that's being more proactive. It's an interesting way, to look at it, but it's working. And when you also think about the points that are converted off of these turnovers, 32 to 11, it's even more impressive. And I just want to point out one more thing about, too. I like the way the defense has provided the consistency. The offense, I think, will start to catch up as the season goes along. But I know JT Rock, he's going to get some silly fouls and things like that. And but once he has the athleticism, he has the size, he has the hands, he has the three-point shot. There's a huge upside that hasn't even unfolded with JT Rock that I can't wait to see unfold. And that's going to be cool to watch as the season goes on.
All right, Chad, appreciate the phone call, man. You got in 505-246-0610. He's talking about JT Rock, and I'm telling you, man, Daniel Ferris just gushing over this dude. Anytime he came into the game, it's like, just be big, man. And he's 7'1" with plus athleticism. You see him, it's not a guy that you have to teach to catch the basketball. It's not a player that kind of looks awkward with his side. JT Rock is comfortable with his frame, his strength, his footwork. Like, the foundation is there for JT Rock, and you see it, and we hit that early through. And what I like about Rock's game, and we saw that, he did take 4 3-point shots. There's, again, these guys are going to get their opportunity on the perimeter, but he hit the early 3-point shot, and then I don't know, it was his next 1 or 2 that he missed, but there was a moment where, again, top of the key, of course, they're sagging off JT Rock, kind of daring the 5-man. All right, if you want to stand at the top of the key and shoot the 3, they'll take it. But Rock got the ball, and what he did is did a little fake, passed it back out to the right wing, immediately went inside to post up, got the post feed, and scored inside. And you like that, and it's kind of reading the moments. And, okay, I hit a 3, took a couple shots, I missed them, let's get back inside. And so I think Chad is right on with the foundation that JT Rock has. Coach Olin spoke about it, post-game, and just kind of reminding everyone, you're watching JT Rock, and that he hasn't played a lot of collegiate basketball. He still is a young player just in terms of the expectations being placed on him to be a contributor in a rotation, and he has a really good foundation, good touch, and he is someone that, look at his game. So he ended up playing just under 9 minutes, really, 8 minutes, 55 seconds, 5 points, 2 rebounds, turned it over 3 times, but still a +2 in that game. That he just gets confident. He's someone that could be 5 points, 5 boards nightly. You could be looking at that. And it's just about gaining that confidence. Picked up a couple ticky-tack fouls. 2 illegal screens, stuff. You got to be set. And you're getting antsy. You want to roll. You want to pop. But just stay set that screen. The ball will come back to you if you're in the right position as a big man. And there's an interesting point there. And I want to talk about what Chad was discussing in terms of rebounding and turnover. Because coaches, a lot of time, you all watch a lot of basketball, listen to post-game interviews, listen to coaches talk about games and say, oh, got to win the boards, got to win the boards. Well, the Lobos were -8 on the board, but won by double digits and controlled the game for 40 minutes. We'll talk about that when we come back. 505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and the text line for its opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
And knowing that the Carrot out there is hosting USL Championship Final. You're able to knock off the #1 seed, then you can come home and host the USL Championship Final. So big time stuff there for New Mexico United. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. JJ Buck Got Andrew producing, Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks. So Chad called in and dropped his thoughts on Lobo basketball, and you can as well, seeing the first 2 regular season games, the Eric Olin era, and we know the foundation, the style of play that the Lobos are going to have this season. And it is interesting that you see a team that gets out rebounded by 8, but they controlled the game. And the Lobos did control that game, even the first half when both offenses were struggling, and it was a defensive battle. New Mexico able to have a late first half push where there was 3 minutes and 23 seconds left, and they were up 26-13. Like, they were just dominating UT Arlington defensively in that first half. There was like an 8-minute stretch that the Mavericks did not score, but it still felt like an oddly close game just because the Lobos even up 13 points. You're like, well, they're not in a rhythm offensively. It could still be right there, but it wasn't the case. Lobos execute the 2-for-1 late, get those 5 points. Smoot hit the 3 off the bench for the Mavericks, but still you go into the half 31-19. You're feeling good. The offense explodes early in the second half. Lobos switched the lead to 41-25. Bullion had a run where he had 5 points. He had a dunk inside and then converted an and one, pushed it to 18. So it was never in doubt. They were in control. But usually when you're controlling games, it's rebounding. You have the advantage in all these categories. The Lobos were out rebounded, and you look at both teams missed a lot of shots early in this game. The Mavericks were 6 of 27 in the first half. Lobos were 10 of 30, but it goes to the turnover, right? And if you're able to create turnovers, it changes anything. Turnovers in any sport are always going to be one of the most impactful categories because it's empty possession and it's points the other way, especially in basketball. If you're creating turnovers, majority of the time you are able to get in a run-out situation, have the man advantage going the other way, and find a way to score. And the Lobos did that, forcing 23 turnovers, credited with 14 steals. That's 32 points off of turnovers, a 32-11 advantage in points off turnovers. And you know what's actually an interesting formula? And in women's basketball yesterday bounced back. They hosted North Carolina A&T. That's a good team out of the CAA. They were the regular season champs last year, returned 3 starters. And it was a challenge, man. It was kind of a similar style to what we saw from the men on Saturday. 2 teams in the first half just locking down defensively. And you look at the Lobo women, they lost the rebounding battle in that game. It was -3, but what did they do? They forced 24 turnovers, and the women had 31 points off of those turnovers. So that is something that if you're a Lobo basketball fan and watch the men and women play this season, right there, the turnover battle. Because both these teams want to pressure you, get out in transition, and it's turnovers, points off turnovers. Both those stats were over 30 points in terms of points off turnovers for the men and women this weekend, and they picked up victory. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. We come back on the other side. Lobo head football coach Jason Eck joins us as New Mexico gets ready for Colorado State this weekend. And what did he think about the Mountain West scoreboard coming off a weekend in which conference got a whole lot more interesting? It's the opening drive here at 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone. leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's
FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Back at it on Saturday, coming off the bye. The Lobos will host Colorado State, 1 o'clock kickoff at University Stadium, and it should be a fantastic day. Lobo fans, this is what it's all about. You get a chance to go watch a really good football team at home, enjoy the afternoon, get some food on the way home, then watch the Lobo men play at New Mexico State. This is what you live for. Welcome back to Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. JJ Buck with you this morning, and the interview with Jason Eck is sponsored by Eco Electric. Get your home or business ready for shorter daylight hours with new outdoor lighting from Eco Electric. A great security feature. Call Eco Electric at 433-3574. We're joined by the head coach, Jason Eck, here on the Opening Drive. Coach, good morning, man. How you doing?
Doing well, JJ. Doing well.
So we know it's football. Dudes get banged up, dudes get hurt, but taking advantage of the late bye week, I know you wanted guys to be able to focus off the field, but also just maintain that consistency with on-field expectations. How was the bye week?
I think it was good. You know, we only practiced a couple times, just trying to get fresh. You know, lifted a couple times in the weight room, and then, you know, got some guys. Some guys traveled last week and got out of town a little bit, and you know, we'll commence back today for lifting this morning, and then have a good physical practice tonight.
And when you're in the middle of a season, you're getting late in the year, and you are able to take advantage of a bye week, how good is that just for everyone to be able to have just kind of that just mental reset a little bit?
Yeah, I think we were ready for it. You know, we had gone, 6 straight weeks there in the middle of the season. And, that was a real emotional game, against UNLV where we had lead changes and had to come from behind at the end. So it was a draining game. The guys celebrated that one quite a bit as they should. But I think it was good to have that time to kind of reset. And now we got to finish up this last 3-game, period really strong here in conference.
And you look at that UNLV game, and you guys have won games multiple ways this season. You've done it at home. You've done it on the road. And what's impressed you the most about where your team is at right now?
Well, I think we're a mentally tough team. I don't think we get rattled. When the momentum goes against us, that doesn't have an effect on our effort or how we respond to things. And we're sitting here with the 3-game winning streak. That's the longest winning streak in the conference right now. And we had a great opportunity with this game this week against Colorado State, a team that we've struggled with historically. I think it's like 13 straight times they have beaten us. But, we got to take advantage of being at home, take advantage of our momentum, and practice really well and get after these guys Saturday afternoon.
Hey, Coach Jason Eck joining us. And, Coach, you mentioned that 3-game conference winning streak. And, Hawaii is a good football team this year, but I think it highlights, any given Saturday or Friday whenever you're playing a conference game. They beat San Diego State 38-6. It's going to be an interesting run for a lot of teams over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, you can't, Colorado State drilled Fresno State, and Fresno State's a team who's still in the hunt for the championship, and Fresno drilled Boise, and Colorado State drilled these guys. So that's just a good example. You can't take anybody lightly. You got to be ready to go and play your best football every time.
Well, Coach, you were talking about just the mentality of this team, and you gave guys a lot of opportunities this year, just as you got becoming the head coach of the Lobos. And you look at the messaging, the first few team meetings, those first few workouts. What was it that needed to be done that really set the tone for what this team was going to be this season?
Well, we talked a lot about our core philosophies and championship behavior, and we got to make sure we're acting like a champion in all ways of the life before we're going to get to the point where we can win a championship on the field, and also belief. Belief and focusing on relationships. We had to really work hard to get connected as a team, and then we had to believe what we could do here, even though it hadn't been done in a while.
Well, football coach Jason Eck with us, and you look at this team and what you've been able to do. I kind of just want to look at some units now that we know kind of who the guys are, and especially the offensive line, right? Of how you were able to develop those guys. You've had players in and out. What is you got Coach Booth as well. The foundation you've been able to establish up front so far this season.
I think we've made a lot of progress up front, and we played some different guys. And I think we've probably, maybe we started 8 different players this year in the O-line, which I think is a positive because it shows that we have a lot of guys who can contribute. And last week. I think we've kind of found a rhythm here with the lineup. Caden Robinette has started every game at center and really done a nice job being consistent. Jamar Tassi has now worked his way into the lineup as a true freshman and is playing well. Tyler Lawrence at right tackle. He's a guy who, coming into fall camp, we probably didn't project as a starter, but really worked hard, and I believe he started every game at right tackle. And Pierce, had a battle and injury that cost him to miss a few games, but he solidified the left guard spot. And then Malik Alian was a guy who, coming into camp, he played all inside in the spring, and we moved him outside just to try to capitalize on his athleticism, and he's done a nice job. And then, the guys who've come off the bench and done a good job or started games earlier in the year, Big Mook, Isaiah Silliman has given us a little energy here down the stretch, and then Nev Brown. So it's a good group, and, I credit Coach Booth for developing those guys, and we still got a ways to go. I don't think that's a finished product, but I like how we're trending there.
Yeah, and it's given opportunity to see the offense, whether it's been the running backs or given Jack opportunity in the pass game, and you look at what Keegan Johnson and Dorian Thomas have done, and they're guys that obviously you saw something more there. Keegan Johnson kind of looking for his spot in his collegiate career, comes in, dominating targets. Same thing with Dorian Thomas, and grinding away, didn't get his opportunity in Arizona, comes here. What was it that you saw in those guys that you thought, hey, these could be really big pieces to our passing offense?
Yeah, they were a little different stories. Obviously, both were at Power 4 programs. Keegan was able to come in as a true freshman, and play at Iowa, which is hard to do, and started some games. And we had a great family connection with him because I coached and Coach Schleisner. We both coached Keegan's brother Cade at South Dakota State, who was a great player for us, and then went on to play 3 years in the NFL. So we knew the family well, and he had those years where he had between 25 and 30 catches, both at Iowa and Kansas State. But, I think he was excited. He really wanted to have a year where he was, maybe the main target and a chance to be the number one wide receiver, and he's done an outstanding job. And then Dorian was a little different situation. Dorian really hardly got to play at all at Arizona. I don't think he had any career catches and just a handful of snaps. So he was really looking for that opportunity to get on the field. And, he had to mature. I think he's grown a lot just in the year he's been here. But, he was a guy we were familiar with because he's from, the Seattle-Tacoma area, which is an area we recruited really heavily when we were at Idaho. So we were aware of him all through high school and the recruiting process. And, we gave him an opportunity, and he took advantage of it and has really improved. And, I think those guys are guys who will be in, conversation for all conference.
Global head football coach Jason Eck with us for a few more minutes. New Mexico and Colorado State Saturday, 1 o'clock out there at University Stadium. Kind of similar to the offensive line, and you had a lot of combinations working together. It's been the secondary. And Coach Nowinski, the DC, scheming things up to make, get guys in position to make plays. You've had secondary players in and out. What have you seen from the back end of the defense so far this year?
I think he did a nice job. Coach Franks and Coach Bignell has done a good job with those guys. At corner, we've had 3 different guys start games with Abe Williams, John Johnson, and Frankie Edwards, and they've all done a nice job. And then Bear Levels and Ja Torres have come in at times to spell those guys. And then, at safety, we took a hit losing Austin Brawley that first game against Michigan, but he's back now. He'll be back for these last 3 games, which we were very excited about. And we'll add, C.J. McBean played really well in his absence. Drew Speech has done a lot of good things. And then, Tavian Combs has really been a stable force after battling injuries the last few years. It's been awesome to see how durable and sturdy he's been and, played a ton of reps for us.
Of course, we know defensively, it's all 3 levels. The front 7 affects the secondary and vice versa. But, being able to have not just an inside linebacker, but the guy calling plays, Jackson Eck, be able to check everything and have that trust. How important has that been for the defense, to have a leader like that who just understands, everything that's going on the other side of the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, Jackson's done a great job. And, again, I think he takes a lot of, pride in really studying the defense and knowing what's going on and making the checks and getting everybody on the same page. And he's done a tremendous job of that. And I think the guys have a lot of trust in him and a lot of confidence when he's in there that he'll get them in the right check. He'll get them in the right defense we want to be in. And, he has a really, good relationship with Coach Nowinski and really has a good idea of what, Coach Nowinski wants to get done and what we're looking for against certain, formations and things. So can't say enough about him. He's made a ton of tackles this year, too. But, you look, I think our defense has really improved. I think we're giving up 25 and change a game. And, I think that was well in the 30s with New Mexico was giving up last year points per game. I think it was 38 points a game. So we've gone from 38 to 25 and change. So that's been a huge improvement, almost 2 touchdowns on defense.
All right, Coach, you look at this game coming up, Colorado State. They moved on from Jay Norvell. Tyson Summers is the interim head coach. But have you noticed anything differently with Colorado State?
Not a ton. I think, teams like this, they got nothing to lose. So they're going to play loose and things. They did have a pretty aggressive 4th down call last week that I thought kind of reflected, hey, let's let it all hang out. We don't have anything to lose. I think if they come in here, I wouldn't be surprised if they're aggressive on 4th down. I wouldn't be surprised if there's fake kicks and things, surprise onside kicks. And they have good players. I mean, they beat us 13 times in a row. So I mean that usually doesn't happen by chance. I mean that shows you probably over time they've had better coaching, better talent, better playing, probably better facilities and recruiting, things like that. So we certainly can't sleep on this team, and I think we're a deserving favorite based on our body of work. But we got to have a great week of preparation and play our tails off.
Yeah, and you look at the coaching staff and you see the pass game coordinator Matt Mumme, and you hear that last name and you're like, all right, you expect probably an offense that wants to spread the field, throw it around. Is that kind of what you see too, of that just, hey, we're gonna leave it all out there?
You know, I think they've shifted a little bit. You know, I think they're relying on run a little bit more now. You know, that might have been part of the whole changeover and things. I'm not sure if Mummy is actually calling it right now. I'm not completely sure, but you know, they'll run their quarterback. You know, they'll do some different things. There is still some elements of spread, but you know, they're not afraid to get downhill and try to run the ball either.
All right, lastly for you, Coach, your offense in this game. What do you see from the Rams, and kind of what do you want to establish early on Saturday?
Yeah, they're very multiple on defense. You know, they'll give us 3-man fronts. They'll give us 4-man fronts. They're not afraid to play man. They like to blitz. I thought they've been pretty aggressive blitzing here since the coordinator, since the head coaching change. So we got to do a good job covering guys up. You know, we can't have errors. We got to make sure we're simple enough on offense that we can execute against all the different looks that they're going to bring. And you know, we got to find a way to run the ball. I wasn't running the ball against UNLV, so we got to get that going. But hopefully, we can still have the explosive passing attack, you know, that we had last week. And we need a great crowd. So all you fans listening, you know, it's going to be like a high of 62, partly cloudy. I know it's as good a weather you could ask for a November football game. As it's football weather, but it's still comfortable. It's a 1:00 start, so we'll be in daylight the whole game. So please turn out. It's going to be a heck of a show, and this team is going to make you proud with the effort they play with.
Coach, as always, appreciate the time, and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, JJ.
Head coach Jason Eck joining us on the opening drive, and the Jason Eck interview has been sponsored by Eco Electric, now installing outdoor lighting to brighten and secure your home or business. Call Eco Electric at 433-3574. Come back, dive into the Mountain West football slate, which Coach Eck was talking about, the Mountain West standings, and Saturday's game, trying to break the streak against the Rams. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient. They're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito sponsor.
Presented by Hyenas Comedy Nightclub.
Lobos looking to snap a 13-game losing streak at Colorado State. And it's a little now or never. As you don't know when the next time Colorado State's going to pop up on your schedule. Or the Pac State Conference starting next year. And how about those Oregon State Beavers losing to Sam Houston State? Sam Houston State was 0-8 going into that game. And we can have that conversation for another day of what in the world was it all about? What in the world did they see on the other side to blow up the Mountain West Conference? Not just say, hey, you know what, we can slide Oregon State, Washington State in. We can call it Pac-12, move on, try to build. But, hey, I understand. Right, those fan bases, those schools are so much better than everyone else. The Mountain West was holding them down from winning championships and getting to the college football playoff all the time. Oh, wait. Oregon State was in the college football playoff last year. Oh, well, here we are. But Saturday, Colorado State, New Mexico, 1 p.m. kickoff, 12 o'clock pregame over on News Radio KKOB. I'll be on the call along with Ned James, Robert Portnoy, and Don Sherrell Moore. Will have it on Altitude and Mountain West Network as New Mexico begins their final, I'd say not homestand, it's the final 3 games of the regular season for the Lobos. 2 at home, Colorado State, San Diego State, with the trip to Air Force on the 22nd. And you're looking at the Mountain West, who knows, just win. And it's an opportunity this weekend to snap a losing streak, because who knows when you're going to get a chance to play Colorado State again. And, guarantee a winning season. And that's something that Coach Eck has also talked about is, getting to 6 is nice. It's bowl eligibility. But you could win 6 games and finish the season with a losing record. Go to the bowl game, you lose, all of a sudden, you're 6-7. It's an opportunity to get yourself a winning season and push for more. You're 14.5-point favorites right now over Colorado State. Air Force is going to be tough. Air Force went out there, beat San Jose State 26-16. They're a little Jekyll and Hyde this season, but they can be really explosive with that offense. You know how tough it is to defend the triple option offense. And even, defensively, they've given up a lot of points at times, but to hold San Jose State down, and you know how tough that offense is. If you watch that game and what San Jose State was able to do to the Lobos, what Walker Eget has done to other teams. Now, Eget moved the ball. He threw for 334 yards, but he had 2 interceptions. Hey, there's that word again, right? Turnovers. We're talking about one of the most impactful things in sports. But Air Force, they led 16-3 at the half. Game got close. It got to within one possession early fourth quarter. It was a 16-13 lead for the Falcons, but they go on a 10-play, 75-yard drive, go up 10 with 9 minutes to play, and hold on. And it's impressive defense for the Falcons, just holding San Jose State to field goal attempts, turning them over. And that's going to be a challenge. It's one thing at a time, but it's opportunity. The next 2 games are huge for the Lobos in terms of teams that have been a thorn in your side. And Colorado State needs to be the thorn that you pull out this weekend. That you get out of there with the dub. You snap that streak. You say, have fun in the Pac-12 conference. You move on to Air Force. In San Diego State, that's still a good football team. They got by Hawaii. I think Hawaii is probably, as we've been discussing the Mountain West Conference, I think they're probably the most underrated team in the conversation. At times, yes, it's out of sight, out of mind. But they're 7-3, 4-2, put on a great defensive performance. Like, the Aztecs offensively have been really good this season. They found something with Denegal at quarterback, of course, leaning on the run game still, but Lucky Sutton, the running back, was held to 78 yards. Denegal threw 2 interceptions. And Micah Alejado, probably in the driver's seat for Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. If he throws for 256 yards, had an interception, but got the job done throwing 3 first-half touchdown passes, all to Jackson Harris, to emerge as a standout wide receiver for Hawaii. But you have a performance like that, 38-6, against a team that this was a moment for the Aztecs to take control of the Mountain West Conference. Yeah, it's on the road against a good Hawaii team, but they were vibing. They have Boise State coming to San Diego. Were they looking ahead? Did they overlook Hawaii? Because that's going to be out there. So now Hawaii's 4-2, and Hawaii's like, yeah, maybe some breaks can go our way. The Aztecs 4-1, and Boise State 4-1, Hawaii 4-2. And then you have that group, UNM, UNLV, Fresno State, Utah State, all at 3-2. So there's a lot of different scenarios out there. Who knows who's going to end up in the Mountain West title game? But what matters for the Lobos is an opportunity to have a winning season, to put yourself in position that if you handle your business, breaks scare your way. Yeah, who knows what happens at the end of the year. But a winning season, a bowl appearance, a Jason Eck, all in with Lobo football. Now's the time. And now it's a now or never game for Colorado State. That if you don't end this 13-game losing streak now, who knows when they're going to be on your schedule next, because they'll have to be a non-conference opponent. 2 touchdown favorites. I wonder, is this going to be a Nevada vibe where you win, but it's not enough? At this point in time, you just need to snap that streak, get that dub, and look ahead to Air Force. And talking with Coach Eck about the bye week, I think it did come at a good time. Rest up a little bit. You have your identity locked in offensively and defensively. You've seen the playmakers emerge in the backfield. Talk to him about Keegan Johnson and Dorian Thomas. They've been able to dominate the targets but still be effective. I think Luke Schleichner has done a very good job offensive play calling, especially James Lobstein coming in as quarterback run game. But then we saw him throw 3 passes against UNLV. One of them was a touchdown pass, just keeping defenses off balance, being able to create those explosive plays. Just find a way defensively. Bend the defense this year. Spin Sawinski and company, with that bend but don't break mentality, they've been able to mix and match pieces in the secondary. That's been good. But that front 7, it has been impressive. That defensive line, started to see it get back on track. They lost that Boise State game, but coming out of that Boise State game, the defensive line really started to solidify itself. Guys making plays, whether it's Booker inside, Carhu on the edges, of course, Keyshawn James Newby, the expectations that he has as their top pass rusher. Things are in a really good place right now. 6-1 football team, an opportunity to guarantee yourself a winning season and more this Saturday against Colorado State. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. Who's in your circle of trust? AFC, NFC. I'm talking about teams you say, all right, they could be in the conference championship game with an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Who are those squads? At that next, it's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by
Of ProView Networks. Since
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the...
At this point in time, you know who you trust and who you don't. Where are those teams? Your AFC, NFC circle of trust. Interesting one tonight because the team on the outside just looking in, the Green Bay Packers, an opportunity. Can they move inside that circle of trust, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles? Monday Night Football right here on The Sports Animal. And your NFL action on The Sports Animal is brought to you by Hyenas Comedy Nightclub. It's now open in Albuquerque, featuring great acts like Al Jackson, Derek Cahill, Michael Longfellow, and Chris Franhola. Get your tickets before they sell out. They're conveniently located in the Winrock Town Center. You can visit HyenasComedyNightclub.com/Albuquerque for more info. It's opening drive here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck with you, Andrew producing, taking your phone calls, 505-246-0610. You got Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks. All right, so the circle of trust. Your teams that you look at and say they can win multiple playoff games. They can be in a conference championship, playing for the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And right now, I only have 4 teams in the NFC. Like I said, the Packers, they're on the outside. Could they move in? Yes, they're 5-2-1. They're a roller coaster ride. That's the majority of the NFL. It's tough to win games. Wild things happen. Looking at you, Cleveland. One time, I thought, I'm going with the Browns. I like them this weekend. You have 2 special teams touchdowns. Justin Fields passes for 54 yards, and you lose that game on the road. That's the NFL. But the circle of trust for the NFC. You got Seattle, Philadelphia, Los Angeles Rams, and Detroit Lions. The Seahawks, 7-2, number 1 seed right now. In the NFC, the Eagles trying to match them. The 7-2 record. Rams also have a 7-2 record. And the Lions, sitting there at 6-3. And the wild card spot. And the Lions were rooting for the Eagles hard tonight. What do you trust about these teams? Well, offensively, Sam Darnold is legit. And Jackson Smith and Jigba went over 1,000 yards this season. Teams just cannot slow him down. They cannot slow him down. They manufacture a run game between Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. And defensively, that front seven is fantastic for the Seahawks. DeMarcus Lawrence ended up returning 2 fumbles for touchdowns yesterday. Became the 6th player since 1991 with 2 defensive touchdowns in the first half of a game. So they got to Jacoby Brissett. They rattled him early. They got out to a 28-0 lead. That's the second week in a row that Seattle led an opponent 28-0. They did it to the Commanders the week before. Like, trust Seattle. You look at the Rams. Beat San Francisco 42-26. And Matthew Stafford set an NFL record with his 3rd straight game with at least 4 touchdown passes and no interception. When you say MVP, it's Stafford. We'll get to Drake May when we talk about the AFC. Jonathan Taylor. But there's not necessarily a guy that's just running away with it. There's the guys that we always have in the conversation. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. But I think it's a little bit different. And the odds shifted too. Drake May right now, I think DraftKings, he's the MVP favorite. It is one of those years. There's not a dude that you just say, hey, this guy's running away with it. But the Rams are solid on both sides of the football. And Devontae Adams got a little banged up, back tied up on him, but Adams, Puka Nacua scored. Kyron Williams added 2 touchdowns on the ground. They scored touchdowns on 6 of their first 8 drives of the game. And San Francisco was able to move the football. Mac Jones continues to get yards. He threw for 319 yards, had 3 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Like, they averaged 6.6 yards per play. Like, San Francisco moved the football. But it's just defensively. There's too many holes, man. The injuries, Warner and Bosa done for the season. It's too many holes to fill defensively. Like, San Francisco is going to be a pesky team if you have to play them. They're on the outside looking in now, man. With that loss, they're 6-4. So the Bears have the advantage in the loss category for Chicago 6-3. But man, there's not a weakness to the Rams right now when you look at both sides of the football. And lastly, Detroit. And I trust the Lions. Dan Campbell calling plays yesterday. So Dan Campbell, instead of John Morton, was calling plays, and Jared Goff throws 320 yards, 3 touchdowns as they handle Washington 44-22. This is a team in Detroit. Know what they have offense. You trust Jared Goff at this point in time. He's been there, done that enough times. The run game, Gibbs, Montgomery, pick your poison. Jahmyr Gibbs has been fantastic this year. Defensively, getting healthy. They paid Hutchinson. He can be the closer for them. Those are the 4 teams I trust in the NFC. My circle of trust. The Seattle, Philadelphia, the Rams, and Lions. Packers, on the outside looking in, they have an opportunity. I think the Packers do have a high ceiling. But they're one of those teams that's a yo-yo. Like a lot of teams are in the NFL. I understand. It's a tough league, week to week. And then Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay, there's injuries offensively. I think that was a really impressive win for the Patriots. But Baker Mayfield, after that game, saying the team lacks a killer instinct. Hopefully for them, they get Bucky Irving back next few weeks. Buka has been really good, but it's been less weapons now. With Mike Evans going down, Chris Godwin not able to get healthy. Tez Johnson still stepped up and had 2 touchdowns. So Baker has some weapons, but what New England was able to do was really impressive. I think the Patriots had the biggest win of the weekend to go on the road and beat Tampa Bay the way they did. And with that, let's talk about the AFC teams in the circle of trust. Indiana, Denver, New England, Kansas City. On the outside, looking in, Buffalo and the Chargers. But I want to talk about the Patriots and the way Drake May has developed this season. So Mike Vrabel comes in and just a complete 180 in the tone shift of that team. And you were watching Drake May early this season. A lot of people were excited about him. The question was, is there enough around him? Well, Drake May is an elevator. And you realize, the Stephon Diggs addition, that's been really good. But then, Kyle Williams had a 70-plus yard touchdown reception yesterday. Mac Hollins has been going off. Hunter Henry has had his game. And then they realized, Trayvon Henderson, he's a dude. He is explosive. Trayvon Henderson went off against a good Tampa Bay rushing defense, and Tampa Bay gave up big plays. There were 5 plays in that game. 5 plays that Tampa Bay got 276 yards and 3 touchdowns on. 5 plays. So the explosiveness against Tampa Bay on the road was phenomenal for the Patriots. And Drake May, being an elevator, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, had an interception, both 16 and 31. And Trayvon Henderson, 147 yards on 14 carries. And Henderson was on the outside looking in. It was a rookie that hadn't earned the trust of Mike Vrabel yet. Ronjay Stevenson still out there getting the carries. Still saw some of those fumble issues from Stevenson early in the season. But then Stevenson goes out, and it is Henderson time. And in a big-time spot against a good defense, Henderson goes off, and you have to look at the Patriots and say, all right, that is a team that they have the weapons and the defense to get it done. And I think New England and Denver are very similar in this conversation, where you look at the offense and say, all right, is it sustainable again? Well, that was a statement game for New England. And when you look at Denver, it's the same thing. They're 8-2. And you are nitpicking. And when you're talking about these teams, it's not just, you won, us move on. It's like, all right, you won, but we're now comparing you to the best because you have the best record in the AFC. Like the Colts. Found a way. 244 yards to Jonathan Taylor. Bouncing back after that rough performance in Pittsburgh with the Steelers defense. You're like, are they coming back? What we saw last night, they're not quite back. Also a rough game for Aaron Rodgers. But even Kansas City being 5-4, not in a playoff spot right now, they're still my circle of trust because if they get into the postseason, that is a team to say, all right, how do you beat them? And so you're looking at the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, 8-2 right now, be in the driver's seat to host the home playoff game early on, kickstart that momentum. So how you feeling? Who is in your circle of trust in the AFC and NFC? So in the AFC, for me, it's the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and Chiefs. And the NFC, it's the Seahawks, Eagles, Rams, and Lions. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal hotline and text line for you this morning. We're coming up at 9 o'clock. Excited. We're going to go up to Denver and talk with Brandon Cristal from Guerrilla Sports, get his thoughts on the AFC West and what he's seen so far this season, and ask him about his circle of trust. So look forward to that conversation. Continue to take your calls and text as well. Lobo football and Lobo basketball and anything from an awesome weekend of sports. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Progressive.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I've ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport. including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66.
Eagles at Packers, our coverage will start at 5 p.m. And of course, the NFL action on The Sports Animal is brought to you by Hyenas Comedy Nightclub. The JJ Buck got Andrew producing, Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks, 505-246-0610. Lamont, you on the OD. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good morning, fellas. It's been a great weekend. A lot of competition, and I just want to talk about the top seeds in the AFC. You got the Colts, you got the Patriots, and you got the Broncos, which I'm a fan of. I see a lot of people doubting the Broncos, doubting Bo Nix. And, you know, the Patriots, they look pretty dominant. Both sides of the ball. Mike Vrabel, great coach. Indianapolis, I've seen them a little bit sketchy about their offense. So my question is, what happens this weekend if the Broncos beat the Chiefs? Which nobody doubts Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's doubting Bo Nix and Sean Payton. The Colts play the Chiefs next weekend too, also. And what happens if the Broncos beat the Chiefs this weekend?
Well, I appreciate the phone call, man. He got into 505-246-0610. That's a great question, right? That is the next question with these teams. You want to see them in those moments. I think defensively, the Broncos are in a position, kind of like we're talking about Lobo men's basketball. Right? The defense is going to give yourself an opportunity. And would you like some more consistency from the Broncos offense? I would, especially with Sean Payton calling the plays. But at some point in time, you got to give a little belief to an 8-2 team. And there's some awards. There's not perfect teams. That's what we're doing the circle of trust. Like, what do you trust about these? And not only are these big moments for Denver and Indianapolis, Kansas City's feeling it, and they're 5-4. And if they don't win some of these games, you can't say you trust them, because are they going to get to the playoffs? Now, Jacksonville's 5-4. Don't trust them. The Steelers, 5-4, but that's the Steelers and Ravens are playing for the division. And then if the Steelers slide, Jacksonville slides. So I think Kansas City finds a way to get to be a wild card team. But that is a good point, and that's what we're talking about. Is now okay. That's who you're judged against. We're talking about the top teams in the conferences. All right, what are you doing against the other legitimate contenders? And that's a big stretch. That's for Kansas City, but more statements that could be made by Denver and Indianapolis. And speaking of that, we're going to go up to Denver next. We're going to talk with Brandon Cristal from Guerrilla Sports. He has the pulse on everything Denver sports, but of course across the country. I haven't checked out what they're doing at Guerrilla Sports. They got some big-time athletes, great personalities, doing a lot of great, not just Broncos, but NFL coverage. Brandon Cristal is going to join us next. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This is Boomer. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS.
Eating North Carolina A&T Sunday after we were just up in Boulder, taking on Colorado on Thursday. I've been to Boulder in a minute. It was nice to see the campus, everything that's going on up there. You know, it's fun to get back up there, but that was a big-time game for the Lobo women, playing the Buffs. And, man, you have just so much to react to. 505-246-0610. That's your Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. JJ Buck with you. Got Andrew producing, Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks. We can watch the show each and every day. And if you don't know, now you know our next guest. I have the opportunity to talk with him for a while now, doing great coverage up in Denver, not just of everything that's going on, you know, Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, but they have the pulse on the entire league with whatever you want to talk about, doing great coverage with Guerrilla Sports. And Brandon Cristal joins us now on the opening drive this morning. BK, what's up, man? How you doing?
Sorry, you got me right after preschool drop-off. So,
dude, I appreciate you taking the time, man.
No, of course. I'm going to my other kiddo's career day, so
I love that, dude.
Get to talk about what we're doing, you know?
Right. I did that last year. So my son is in first grade now, but he was in kindergarten. I bounced around. And, you know, I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. And then sometimes you have those little kids looking at you, and they're like, so are you the coach? Are you the player? I'm like, well, no, like, I pretend to be a coach sometimes, but,
sure.
You know, but it's still.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking about it because I'm talking to, I think, 6 first grade class, whatever it is. It's a rotation, so it's not just my kiddo's class.
and I was able to get my editors to put together a little video montage for me, so that'll kind of explain it, I think. But yeah, I think because I talk to, we talk to high school kids, we'll talk to college classes. That's a little more straightforward. You can be honest with them. You can tell them not to get into this business if they like money, but that it beats working for a living, getting to go to games and talk about them on the radio and TV and the internet. But I have to remember that I'm talking to an audience of 6 and 7-year-olds when I get there. So I've been thinking about, how I'm going to phrase some stuff.
Oh, dude, it is a lot of fun. I just say, just have fun, play sports as long as you can, and enjoy it. That's
exactly.
That's what we want as fans. So now I've been talking this morning. I've been doing my NFC and AFC Circle of Trust. And I'm interested to get your thoughts of, in each conference, who are the teams that you legit trust and say, hey, they could play in the conference championship game. And I want to start with the NFC and kind of get your thoughts over there. Who are the teams that you think are Super Bowl caliber right now?
Well, and I think it's more than you think, only because while it feels like there's a separation, we know obviously the Bills can lose to the Dolphins, the Panthers can go and beat the Packers. Every team kind of has some sort of flaw, and maybe it's not even a specific flaw. Like the Broncos' flaw is specific, but there's a shortcoming. It's just there's not a dominant team or a super team. You think the Eagles could be capable of it, but clearly there's something going on. It might just be as simple as a new play caller. But starting the NFC, I got to see the Eagles in person in Philly, and they're definitely the best NFC team that I've seen in person at this point. The Packers will be here in December, so I get to see them right before the Broncos head to Kansas City on Christmas Day. So I get to see the Packers up close. Obviously the Cowboys, as much as we might like some of their offensive talent, they're a disaster on defense. Seattle, I think, has surprised a lot of people, but has continued to come out, whether it's against Houston on Monday night or yesterday against a bad Arizona team. Then you have to put the Rams in there as well, and then you can't look past the NFC North. The Vikings made a valiant comeback. I don't know if J.J. McCarthy has enough right now to get to a conference championship or win it, but I'm not giving up on him just because he hasn't maybe, he certainly hasn't been on the field, but hasn't been as dynamic as Drake May has in year two, as Bo Nix has at times, as certainly Caleb Williams has, as Jaden Daniels has. You have to take Washington off the list because they're just so beat up. And so then I think it's still the Lions out of that division. Can't put the Vikings there yet, and I don't trust the Bears. But the Bears are certainly intriguing. So it's still only about 4 or 5 teams. But I guess you can't look past the Bucs. I just think their injuries could end up being too much to overcome as well. When you talk about those explosive playmakers, you get into the playoffs, you need them to be there to make plays. And will Mike Evans even be back? And if Godwin's not right, defenses will key on Ibuka, and they just don't have enough beyond that. Plus, Bucky Irving's been banged up.
I think definitely saw that yesterday with what New England was able to do. Talking with Brandon Cristal, joining us in the opening drive this morning. You shift to the AFC, man. We got 3 teams, 8-2, and it is kind of the but. And Sean Payton, I think it was the first question he had Thursday night, and he's like, what's the but? What's the but? Well, the reality is that's kind of the way we're judging the Broncos now. You're 8-2, and you're going to be held to a higher standard. But I look at those 3 teams atop the NFC. I think New England and Denver are just kind of very similar with their style of play. But, when you're looking at the AFC, there's the name brand teams that are behind these squads right now. How do you feel about those teams? Kind of like, who do you trust?
Well, so the teams at the top, you just want to see it more with New England. And the difference between – now, the difference may be that Drake May's a better quarterback than Bo Nix. Certainly right now he's been more consistent, even though Bo's accounted for 21 touchdowns. And the numbers are kind of misleading because we've seen the Broncos struggle so much until they've needed to make plays. That fourth quarter against the Giants obviously was certainly an outlier because it had never happened in that kind of scenario. They were great against the Cowboys, terrible defense, great against the Bengals on Monday night with a sputtering offense at that point and an average defense at best, but Jake Browning and company. So, but they're 17th in yards, or 17th in points and 13th in yards. So you're like, they're kind of middle of the pack. Well, they're below that for most of the game. At the same time, though, in the playoffs and in close games, you have to make plays. And Bo Nix has shown that he can do that. If they beat the Chiefs on Sunday, it's going to change the narrative, I think, pretty dramatically. I guess it depends on how they beat them. If Bo Nix is terrible again, and they get a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown, and they win the game 19-16, but they have one offensive touchdown, that's not going to necessarily do the trick. I realize that my math doesn't necessarily add up there, but you know what I'm saying. So I want to see it with the Patriots, but the difference to me between the Patriots and the Broncos is I like the Patriots defense, but they don't have a reigning defensive player of the year. They don't have a defensive player of the year, top 3, top 4 candidate right now, Nick Bonito. They don't have the best pass rush in football over the last 2 years. That's getting better when you add Dre Greenlaw just to the mix in the front. And so if they can stay healthy, plus you added Hufanga from a year ago, and he's been all-pro worthy all season long. But that to me would be the separator between the Broncos and Patriots. With the Colts, they've clearly done enough when they needed to, including yesterday. And Jonathan Taylor, I think, does deserve real MVP consideration. I just don't trust Daniel Jones to need to go make those throws in the playoffs either. And that's what you need. You need the quarterback that's going to make the throws when it matters most, whether that's in a conference title game or certainly in a Super Bowl. And so are any of them frauds? I don't know. But there's certainly let's wait and see. Then with the Chiefs, I think they're kind of in that next group right behind them. The Bills you have to have there, but obviously laying a bit of an egg against the Dolphins yesterday. It's a head-scratcher, and I don't love their defense and their defensive personnel. And then I don't trust the Steelers at all. The Bengals just won't get there. The Ravens are the team that you need to keep an eye on because I think that their schedule sets up to allow them to reel off a bunch of wins if Lamar can stay on the field. Their defense is still pretty banged up, but if they can continue to get healthier, I don't know if they can get to the Super Bowl just because I don't like that defense enough. But to me, that's kind of the end of the list of the teams. The Chargers, as good as they played last night and as good as Justin Herbert's been, I just think it's going to matter when you got backup tackles in the playoffs and against really elite defenses, and I don't know if they'll be able to hold up. And their defense has been good, but it hasn't been great. I think that they've done the best they possibly can, considering they lose Joey Bosa or let him go or whatever, and Khalil Mack has given you all that he can. Same with Derwin James, but I just don't know if they have enough to go win an AFC title game, let alone get to a Super Bowl this year. If even Joe Alt was healthy, I think differently, but without those tackles, I think it's going to be really tough.
A couple more minutes talking with Brian and Chris Stahl. You can check them out at BK Denver Sports on the X. Follow Gorilla Sports. They got a lot of great stuff going on for coverage, not just Denver sports, but everything around the league. And I think what's going to be so key for those teams that we're talking about up top is the potential that, you might see Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or even Lamar Jackson at this point in the playoffs. But if these, if Indianapolis, Denver, New England keep winning, they get a chance to play those games at home.
Yeah, and I think that can't be overlooked. We know what a home field advantage Foxborough was for so many years. I understand Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had a lot to do with that. But I remember the Broncos after the big win, and I get you were a little, undermanned if you talk about Tebow at quarterback, but they beat the Steelers in 2011, and then they go to New England and you get boat raced on a Saturday night. But the weather was terrible. Not great. I guess it's good football weather, but if you're running a precision offense and you're doing all these different things like Sean Payton's doing, you don't want to have to play up there if you're any team, really. And I get Buffalo is used to it. Kansas City showed they could do it. But just having your home fans, and for the Broncos, what an advantage it would be to have one or two home games at Empower Field at Mile High could be huge. I guess it could have up to 3 if they're a 2, 3, or 4 seed, depending on how the playoffs shook out, and not the 1 seed. But you certainly like those confines of being at home, the friendly confines. Same with the Colts. They're going to have a better crowd in Indy if they're home, even if they've got the dome. And so, it just does make it harder if you're the Chiefs, the Bills, we'll call it the Ravens, because, again, I think they end up sneaking out of that division unless the Steelers can get their act together. But, it would be nice to see, because it's obviously been since 2015 in the AFC title game since the Broncos have hosted a playoff game. And so they control their own destiny, too. And the schedule sets up pretty favorably. My wife was asking me the other night, she's like, well, what trips do you have left? And I was like, Vegas, but she and I are going there because she has a work gala the night before. So that December 6th, 7th is the game. We're going to D.C. as a family. We were planning to go there for Thanksgiving anyway to see her uncle and cousins. And the Broncos play there on Sunday. And I'm like, and the Chiefs on Christmas night. And that's a bit of a coin flip whether I'll be at that game. We're working through it as a company. But that's it. 3 road games between now and the first weekend of the playoffs at earliest. They get the Chargers at home to end the year. They're getting the Packers here, like I mentioned. They get the Jags, who we know are certainly entertaining, and you don't know what exactly that'll look like. But they get a bunch of games here at home, and obviously the Chiefs on Sunday. It sets up well for them because they have such a compressed schedule, JJ, with that 7 wins in 38 calendar days, I think is what it was. So 35 days was crazy.
Yeah, Brandon, lastly for you, just the vibe up there right now. I saw the tweet from last night. So the Broncos, Avalanche, and Nuggets have combined so far for just 5 regulation losses through 34 games. Just what's it like for the fans right now in Denver?
Well, they're certainly spoiled, but I don't think they're taking it for granted. And what I appreciate about the Nuggets and David Adelman, who obviously is taking up for Michael Malone, but Michael Malone certainly would ring the bell for don't take Nikola Jokic for granted, in that what you're seeing has never been done and likely won't be done for a long, long time, if ever again, in terms of the type of player that he is and what he's able to do on the court. Sometimes unspectacularly, and then sometimes, for a guy 7 feet tall, extremely spectacularly when you look at some of the passes that he makes. And so you know that the Nuggets, with the moves they've made, if they can stay healthy, will be in the race for the championship. The Avs, same thing. You go in and take the back-to-back Western Conference champions to the woodshed and go and beat them 9-1 in Edmonton, and then pull out a win in Vancouver. It's clicking for them because they have 2 of the 5 or 6 best players in the league and good pieces around them. And then, we obviously focused on the Broncos. The Broncos will be in the mix. They're obviously going to have to make plays on offense, have to get more consistent, but they have a true championship caliber defense, and that will keep you in every game, barring catastrophes on the offensive side of the ball and special teams. And so, yeah, I think that Broncos fans, and I'm not sure, or fans in Denver, I'm not sure that even the ones that are season ticket holders for all 3 or for any sport, they're in, especially with the Avs or the Nuggets. But you know how the casual, or even slightly above casual sports fan may not be following everything the Nuggets are doing, because a lot of people wait until Christmas or January to get into basketball. And so it's going to be, I think, a pleasant surprise when they look around and realize, oh, wow, we're in first place in all 3 divisions and racing towards the playoffs. I think it could end up being a really special year, especially when you look at where they are with just the chance to see both the Avs and the Nuggets. I've thought this for years, JJ, and I know you're going to be up against it, but I thought that we're going to one year, the Nuggets now will be healthy enough, the playoffs set up, where they're going to get all the way to at least the championship round simultaneously, because they've kind of alternated and or come up short, especially with how stupid brackets are set up. But I think this could be the year where, well into May, every night down at Ball Arena, and obviously they'll be on the road in intermix in there, depending on how the schedule shake out. But both teams are in the conference championship and both playing for a chance to win another title.
Yeah, I remember that would be awesome. So I spent some time growing up in Arvada as a kid, and it was the era where there was a mural when you'd ever drive downtown, or you look up and it was like Joe Sakic, I think Dikembe Mutombo, John Elway, and now it's an era of that would be Jokic, McKinnon, and maybe Pat Surtain at this point in time, but enjoy the moment. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you have the best player in basketball, you have the best one of the 3 best offensive players, and the best defensive player in hockey in Makar and McKinnon, and then you've got an exciting young quarterback, although you can't put him on murals yet. But Nick Bonito has shown to be an heir apparent to Von Miller, and you have the best defensive player in football in Pat Surtain until he's dethroned, and he won't win it this year unless he has 10 picks in the last 5 games that he plays or whatever. But he will maybe be the first ever defensive player, cornerback rather. He's the 6th ever to win defensive player there. He could be the first to win it twice. It's not going to happen this year, as we understand. But yeah, you're pretty lucky. And the Rockies are working on getting a major league team here in Denver, which would be exciting to see Major League Baseball back in Denver as well.
And we'd enjoy it too, of course. Albuquerque, the AAA team for the Rockies, so we're always watching.
They're identical.
Yeah. BK, man, have some fun at Career Day this morning. I always appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Of course, JJ. I'll talk to you soon, bud.
That's Brandon Cristal. You can check him out. Gorilla Sports does a great job as they've started that over the last couple of years. They got like Jake Plummer, a bunch of big-time former athletes working for them. So it's not just, of course, Denver coverage if you're a fan of any of those teams that we were talking about, but of course the national perspective that you get from those guys. Great stuff. Always appreciate the time catching up with Brandon Cristal. It's Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Rio Rancho Rams and Cleveland Storm football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard.
Very busy, always on a Monday morning. Appreciate Brandon Cristal hopping on, catching up with him. Talking the circle of trust. Do you trust the NFC and AFC? Talking about teams, getting to the conference championship game, a chance to play in a Super Bowl. Busy weekend for Lobo basketball. The men were victorious on Saturday, 74-56 over UT Arlington. Coming up next segment, we'll play our post-game conversation Daniel Ferris and I had with Dane Albury, a fifth-year guard. Albury stepped up 15 points, was 8-8 at the free throw line, but the aggressiveness that he needs to keep having offensively, just the tone that they set defensively, held UT Arlington to 19 points. Sunday, Lobo women get a victory over North Carolina A&T 71-64, and that is the classic game. I understand. Non-conference schedules early in the season, a lot going on. You see North Carolina A&T, and you're just like, all right, it's just another one of those cupcake games. I understand that. That's not the case. This is a team that won the CAA last season, has a head coach in Terrell Robinson, has won 5 conference championships in his 14 seasons. They returned the best player from last year's team, their center, Shania Clark, who was a problem yesterday for the Lobos, but they got the job done. They won 71-64, were able to battle back. They had a 13-point lead third quarter, fell behind by 4 early fourth quarter, and then went on a run themselves. It was Nyla Padilla hit back-to-back threes, and then Hargrove hit a bucket in transition, so a little 8-0 spurt there. That was big for them. But both teams have a similar identity. You know, Ronnie hit us up on the text line. He said, congrats on the call for both the men's and women's team. I appreciate that. Just excited for the opportunity this season to do more on the UNM Sports Radio Network. But he added he is excited for both the men and women because of the grit that they showed this weekend. And they have similar styles. It's going to be turning people over, winning the points off turnover battle, as the Lobo men had 32 points off of 23 UT Arlington turnovers, and the Lobo women had 31 points off of 24 North Carolina A&T turnovers. JJ Buck with you. Got Andrew holding it down, producing Adrian on ProView Networks. 505-246-0610. Rudy, you're on the OD. What's up, man?
Good morning. Wow, what a weekend for sports. Some programming notes, JJ, for people out there. If you're going to Lobo Talk, it's not at Sandia Casino tomorrow night. It is at the Pit. And I think some people are confused, so I thought I'd let them know. We have a good crowd out there this year for Lobo Talk. So Coach X is going to be at the Pit. Just follow the signs when you go in there, because right after there's a men's basketball game, right?
That is. It's a special edition of Lobo Talk from the Pit with basketball playing Tuesday night.
And then if you go to CBS College Sports, their rankings this week, there they are, number 52, up 6 spots, New Mexico, right behind UNLV at 51, right behind Kansas, California. But what's more interesting is people behind New Mexico. Boise State is at 53, Clemson is at 54, Kansas State, Northwestern, Florida State, there they are at 59. Mississippi State, you know, if that's not a reason to get out to the game Saturday. This was a team, I think they started the season 127, if I'm not mistaken, UNM. So that's a significant progress in a very short time. And I think if anybody deserves a full stadium, it's the Lobos this Saturday. And like Coach X said this morning, it's going to be great weather, and we're going to get out there at 8 o'clock and tailgate, and I'm inviting everybody out there. Stop by and maybe grab we're going to have some breakfast burritos from Rudy's, I think. So it ought to be a fun day.
Sounds good to me, Rudy. Appreciate the call, man. He got in 505-246-0610. Yes, that's a good note on programming in terms of Lobo Talk this week. So it's going to be live from the Pit. Of course, Robert Portnoy, a little bit busy. He's going to have to call that game Tuesday night. And instead of moving Lobo Talk Monday or Wednesday, you know what? It kind of works for the coaches because they'll have practice Tuesday afternoon, wrap it up, go over to the Pit, and open the doors a little bit earlier so you can enjoy Lobo Talk from 5:30 to 6:30, and then Lobo men play UC Riverside at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Lobo women have a field trip day on Wednesday, so it's an 11 a.m. tip-off live for you right here on the Sports Animal at 10:30, as both teams will then head to Las Cruces. So if you're going to Las Cruces, and if you can, and you can spend a little bit extra time, the Lobo women play New Mexico State at 2 on Sunday. So I know probably the hotel checkout Sunday morning, if you're spending the night or driving back, understandable. Drive down and back, save some money, I got it. But if you're hanging out in Cruces, you're spending the night, and you can spend a little bit of extra time, hang out for the Lobo women. because they play the Aggies Sunday at 2 o'clock. There's Lobo men play them at 7. We've got football at 1. We've got a very busy weekend. But these are the moments to enjoy as a sports fan. These moments fill you back up because we build those walls. We look at negativity. We're always glass half full because you don't want to be hurt. Anytime you get excited for something, your team loses, you're like, dang it. Just enjoy the moment. If you can make it a big-time weekend surrounding Lobo Athletics, go for it. Do whatever you can this weekend. If it's just a football game, go for it. If you're a basketball fan, do what you can. Support the programs. If you can hang out a little longer and join us on Sunday for women's basketball, that would be awesome. It's a very busy weekend, and Lobo Athletics is rolling right now. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you. This morning, we come back on the other side. We're going to play our post-game conversation. I had the opportunity to talk with Dayton Albury on the UNM Sports Radio Network about his game and just the mentality that this team has to be locked in on the defensive end and continue to play as hard defensively when things aren't going well offensively. Because you usually see in games one thing affect the other. Like if you're not playing good defense, it might affect you offensively. If your offense is struggling, you not bring the effort the other way. That's not the case so far. The effort locked in on defense, regardless of what's going on in offense for the Lobos. So we'll hear from Dayton Albury coming up next. And this is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This Veterans Day, join us in...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744. Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep.
Get buckets, this or that, but you guys have laid a foundation. You have not given up 20 points in the first half yet here in the thing.
I didn't even know that.
We expect that every game now.
All right,
Just
for
so, all right,
sure.
for the whole season. I don't
Sure,
care who you
okay.
play. No more than 20 in the first half.
But
all right?
just to have that buy-in mentality defensively between all you guys, where does that come from?
I would say just preparation and practice. From the first thing you see when you walk into the film room is the keys of the day, and it's all defense. So, before even going into practice, we have a crazy defensive mentality. Watching a lot of film, coach pointing out where we need to get better, and it's almost like you have to do it now, because they're harping on it so much.
I mean, you could tell you guys work on it. You guys are always in the gaps. There's a wall. When they drive, you guys are collapsing. I love when it's in the post, the big old force and baseline. You guys come there and pressure that. I love how aggressive you guys are. Offense, I'm not even worried. You guys are. That's coming along. You guys can all play. That's the easy part.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
No, speaking of that offense, what does it mean that you guys know that you have a defensive foundation that's going to give your offense time, whether it's in a game or even over the next few weeks to grow, that you can trust your defense that much?
Right. Even just growing up, it's always been defense first. I feel like if we focus more on the defensive end, I believe offense would take care of itself every time. Something as simple as just getting a steal in transition. That's 2 easy points and stuff like that. Just keeping a good defensive mindset will carry us a long way.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, you guys kind of changed the game with a little 6-point spurt off your defense. You got to steal, layup. Because, I mean, you guys keep doing that, it's going to be a really good season for us.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
excited.
Yes, sir. And it's always good to hear the crowd go crazy in the pit when you get a nice
just wait.
defensive
Just
stop.
wait. Just wait. We don't
Can't
need
wait.
11,000 right
Can't
now, my
wait.
friend.
Can't
We got a few more seats to fill,
Yes,
so
sir.
you'll see. But, man, you guys keep doing what you're doing. They'll show up.
Yes, sir.
No, with that, you played in the Mountain West Conference, of course, last year at Utah State. We still are waiting for that true pit game. But what is it like playing in this building when you feel that? You get that stop defensively, a dunk, a basket in transition, and you start to feel that buzz from the fans.
Man, it's so crazy. It kind of gave me flashbacks to last year when I came down to Utah State. It was about the last 2 minutes of the game. I believe True got a steal, hit a big three, and I just felt like the vibrations. And today kind of reminded me of that. When True got to steal the same possession you guys were talking about. And just hearing them go so crazy, I was like, what just happened? And I started to get chill bumps, and, it just shows a great
I'm
representation.
getting goosebumps right now, man. Just
It's
wait.
crazy.
Just
It's
wait.
crazy.
We love Lobo basketball here,
Sure.
man. I'm from here. I got to play here. Like, we're going to show up for you guys. You guys
Sure.
keep playing D like that, man. Hey, the city's going to be behind you, I promise.
Yes, sir.
All right, lastly for you, Dayton, when you look at this team, you in attack mode, drawing defenders, it's going to open things up. And we saw you guys really start to settle in when Tomislav Buljan got going inside in the second half. How big is that to set up, whether it's Buljan or other people on the drive for those easy baskets?
I think it's important just to, continue to put confidence inside of my teammates. So not missing that opportunity to give J. Cole a wide open shot, or not missing Tomislav down low. Because, stuff like that could really do a lot mentally in a good way and a bad way. So me as a point guard, I got to, keep it more on the good side, and things will go good for this team.
Love it. Love it. Hey, that's exactly what I'd like to hear from our leader, man. Keep doing your thing. It's going to be a great season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dayton Albury, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Well, flashback to the post game from Saturday on the UNM Sports Radio Network. And how you feeling, Lobo fan? Just that mentality, the intensity this team has defensively. It's going to give them an opportunity. And as the opponents get better, they see better offenses. This is a team that has something they can lean on already. And it's that defensive mentality. It's the length. They just get in the way. And that's one of those things that's so noticeable. If you've been able to watch this team in person, it's not necessarily, everyone is 7 foot, 7'1". It's even your 6'7" guys are just long. And Chris Howell gets in the way. Luke Hop gets in the way. Then you have the quickness and aggression of Albury. And you see, with Bullion and Rock, kind of that combination, the difference that they have there. Tomislav Bullion, only 4 rebounds, but he got going offensively, scoring 17 points. Aggressive inside. You saw some nice post moves from Bullion. So all the pieces, as they're starting to fit together, having that defensive foundation is huge for the Lobos moving forward. 505-246-0610. Sports Animal hotline and text line. John got in, and he's happy about the Broncos. Says the OD and the A&M is killing it again. Go Broncos. Of course, we had that discussion this morning. And you're looking down now, and you know who teams are in the NFL and who can you trust. And there's 3 teams in the AFC. It's an 8-2 record. It's Colts, Broncos, and Patriots. And they have put themselves in position to host playoff games and then have the guys that we trust. And we're talking Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, waiting on you, man. But things are opening up. I think after watching last night's game, had the feeling on the Steelers, they got off to a good start. They won the games that were in front of them. But here comes the giant butt. The offense, it's just been hanging on. It's a lot of short yardage passes for Aaron Rodgers this season. They've gotten by, but it's not a consistent, explosive run game with Jalen Warren. And the defense has been disappointing. And you saw that last night. A Chargers team that has had warts, and the offensive line is struggling. You should all right, this should be a game defensively that the Steelers were able to get off, build some momentum from that performance they had against the Colts. And yeah, they sacked Herbert 5 times, but still was an efficient day for the Chargers offense. Kamani Vidal had over 90 yards. Herbert, another 200-plus yard game, had a touchdown to McConkey. And now you're looking at the Baltimore Ravens. And they're 4-5, but the way the schedule sets up for them down the stretch, they'll have the opportunity to attack the Steelers and potentially win that division. And you're looking at that 4th seed in Baltimore, if it happens to be Baltimore, if they are that division winner. All right, yeah, you play that first game at home, that 4-5 matchup. But we could see a postseason that Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen have to go on the road. And if you're the Colts, Broncos, and Patriots, that's what you want. You're the teams that are trying to take that step forward. And if you get those teams at home, it's a little bit of an advantage. It's an opportunity. But right now, my circle of trust, Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and I still have the Chiefs there, man. I do. Even though they're on the outside looking in, but I don't trust Jacksonville. I think they're going to slide. Kansas City next couple weeks, so they have a opportunity to really put a dent in the Broncos and Colts. But at the same time, statement opportunities for Indianapolis and Denver against Kansas City and keep them on the outside looking in. 505-246-0610. Take your thoughts. You got any Lobo basketball thoughts you want to get into? Of course, this started the week for Lobo football. Had head coach Jason Eck on earlier. If you missed it, it will be posted. Wherever you get your podcast, search The Opening Drive. You can listen back to all 3 hours of the show and, of course, our highlighted interviews with everyone on the OD. The Opening Drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer and
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. Find it on ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry.
CU Event Center last Thursday. Shots from shoot around. Take you inside what's going on with Lobo women's basketball on the road, and of course all the takes from covering Lobo football, calling the games, same thing, working with Lobo men's basketball, all the fun stuff. You can follow me on social media, _JJ Buck on the X, or of course on the Instagram. Find me there for some more videos and content. Got Andrew producing, Adrian holding it down on ProView. Got an email from John about Lobo basketball. He said, I like parts of what I'm seeing on the defensive end with this team, but there are some questions I have about the rest of the game. The first is the aggressiveness on offense. I know this isn't last year's team, but there are too many times that we get in breaks and pull up when it's right there. because it drives him crazy. And on top of that, the bigs are running back to the defensive end while Shooter is shooting the ball. Rebounding is going to be an issue. I'm also worried about Rock. The pick and roll is there every time, and they don't ever get it to him. I don't know why. Finally, is Chris Howe. Said Rudy told Kenny he thought he was a leader Saturday, but I don't see it. He jogs, whips on screens, and is just slow. First off, that last part on Chris Howe is completely wrong, John. It's wrong. Chris Howe is not an explosive player, but he's not just slow. He's your YMCA dude. He is the leader on this team. You don't just become the Big West Hustle Player of the Year for nothing. Like, that's not an award that was just given to him by UC San Diego. That was the rest of the conference watching the way Chris Howe played. So you're wrong on Chris Howe. I'm just going to say that. You see the leadership twofold if you're watching that game. It's just, his game's just not explosive. But you watch him play, he's in control. He's in the right positions defensively. Now, if you're going to analyze every possession like that, yeah, there's going to be whiffs. There's going to be times you can whip the ball inside. That happens. You're not going to be perfect every possession. I think JT Rock is still developing. I agree with that. If he needs to get inside, a lot of the game, it's on these guys in the flow of the offense to go inside. There's a lot of perimeter touches for everyone, but you got to get inside. I think JT Rock hit that first three, missed the next two, got inside, got it back. That's going to come. I know Daniel Ferris loves the dude, and I agree. There's a good foundation there. And there's some growth. And, the line was saying, no, this isn't last year's team. Yeah, you can't compare anything to what Pitino did. It's a different style, different roster. Now, you might have liked that basketball, yeah, because they were winning a ton of games. And this team has to get there. And they still have to try to figure out a consistent flow offensively. That's all understandable, and I agree with that. But you're going to be frustrated if you analyze every single possession. Yeah, because sometimes people pull up in transition. It happens in a game. Now, if it's just a few times during a game, that's the flow. But if it's a constant where they're not scoring, then it's a problem. But look at that second half. Lobos scored 43 points. They shot 40% from the floor. Not great. No, they shot 40% from the floor for the game, excuse me, but 48% in the second half. They're getting inside. They're getting to the free throw line. I think there's positives. But, yeah, you can overanalyze each possession and feel a certain way. And rebounding is one to watch. And we had a comment earlier today how the turnovers have masked that. And in the games, if you're not forcing turnovers and teams are able to limit the empty possessions that they have, what are you going to be on the board? Well, you should be pretty good when you got Thomas Bullion in there, Antonio Chol. But you still have a lot of guys that are figuring out their role and what they're going to be at this level. So I am impressed with the defensive foundation that they have. And, yeah, there's things to work on offensively in the flow of it. But, again, like, you can feel certain ways if you're going to analyze every single possession like that. So I understand, on board with a lot of people's just questions, wanting to see where this offense goes and who steps up, where the shots come from. All understandable. But, yeah, Chris Howe's that dude. They trust him. He's in the right spots. He's not explosive, but he's not just jogging or not giving it his all. Now, there's a moment late in the second half. The game, not in doubt at that point in time. And, right in front of us was freshman Pons, and I forget who else was getting ready to check in. And Chris Howe was kind of waiting there as well. And he's talking to those young guys and about where they need to be, what they need to do. He's still working on looking at the court, too. There was a fast break the other way, and he's like, slow it down, take some time off the clock. And he was looking at Daniel Ferris and I and kind of joking about it. But that's who he is. He is a leader. Like, I don't understand what you mean by you don't see it. Because he's not explosive. And then Lobos made some plays, and Coach Owen said, "Oh, come back to the bench. We'll let these guys finish out the game." Got this one on the text line. It says, regarding basketball, I think the Lobos really need to explore the mid-range game, much like teams of the last few years. If you don't, teams are just going to try to extend you when you're not shooting well from three-point range. You pack paint to prevent getting touches down low. When we start shooting at mid-range, it helps other aspects of the game. We have the talent. It does. Absolutely. And it's one where it's an ebb and flow, right? It's easy to say, well, if you don't do this, team's going to take X away. It's give and flow, it's adjustments in the game. And you all have watched enough basketball. You're passionate about basketball. You get that. And I think they'll get there. They do have work to do offensively just to figure out what their identity is going to be. And another one, it's like Chol. The dude only had 3 shots on Saturday. And you expect a lot more from Antonio Chol within this offense. And is he going to be someone that lives on the perimeter, or is it going to be attack and then come outside? Like, these are still questions that they're needing to answer. But you'll take it. It's a 2-0 start. Really good defensive foundation. Riverside could be a little bit more of a challenge tomorrow. And then you go on the road. It's your rival, and it's the first rivalry game, and just the noise and the expectations surrounding that contest on Saturday. So the build-up, the start of the season, having these first 3 games at home, the next opponent just a little bit better. After that, it's fair to talk about the offense. I agree with y'all. And I think it will come around to solidifying these roles, because you do see already who he trusts. Like the fact that 2 true freshmen, Jake Hall and Uriah Tenet, are playing as much as they are. It's a credit to their ability and, again, mentality that you need to have. Dayton Albury, I understand. It's just 3 of 9 shots not there, but it's the aggressiveness, getting to the free throw line. There's only 1 for 4 from 3. So where the shots are coming from, how is he getting the offense going, is one for Albury. But overall, I am pleased with Lobo basketball. Like I like the foundation. You can see the upside, whether it's JT Rock, what he brings inside, the experience that Chris Howell, Albury have. Tomislav Buljan is not your typical freshman, but again, just adapting to something new within this team. And Hop, look at what he did. He didn't score, but he had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers. So you got a lot of solid, and then you'll look at who can be that extra. And I think Antonio Chol is going to be one of those extras, and Dayton Albury will definitely have his games where he's popping. Like he had 15 points. 8 of them came at the free throw line. But it's turnovers, of course, is going to be the story for Lobo men's basketball. If they turn you over, it's going to be a good day. If not, they're going to have to grind for it. So we'll see what they look like tomorrow, hosting UC Riverside. I want to thank head football coach Jason Eck. His Lobos play Colorado State on Saturday at 1 p.m. out at University Stadium. Brandon Cristal from Guerrilla Sports up in Colorado. It was a fun conversation. If you missed any of the show, you can listen to it wherever you get your podcast. Search The Opening Drive. Andrew, appreciate you waking up again and knocking out the opening drive. Adrian, as always, looks great. Thank you for sharing the show on ProView Networks. We have Colin Cowherd coming up next. Follows that. Monday Night Football, Eagles at Packers at 5, everybody. Meta World, peace and love. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
UTAS shuts things down once again. 25-19.
Faithful empty backfield. Lewis brings down the high snap. Now he's firing, looking for Smith. One-on-one, and George makes the catch. The transfer from Robertson hauls it in for the Matadors touchdown.
Pruitt puts it across. Ava Ashley. Ashley puts it down. Game 4 goes to Albuquerque High, 25-12. We'll take a quick break.
An injury as well. Breaking through, Wyatt sees a hole, and he's gonna go. What a play, 70-yard touchdown. Watkins handed off to Herrera. Break through another hole, and through the middle, now it's Herrera. He has another man to walk off.
Trying to draw him off again. Valley a little more.
Tapia again, big hole. Tapia is on the way to the end zone. Foot race to the end zone. Tapia touchdown. A 52-yard touchdown run by Jose Tapia. And
didn't start tonight. End zone shot here. It's intercepted. Severely underthrown at the 5-yard line. And a lot of room for a return for Ingersoll. And he's still up on his feet at the 40. He's finally pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
back to pass. Deep shot down the right side of the field.
Got somebody wanted.
Caught.
Great catch.
Caught. He's rolling into the end zone. Touchdown. So Joshua Sanchez on a 50-yard touchdown pass.
Well, it's going to be a tough test for Del Norte as Los Alamos has got them the last